Hello everybody and welcome to my review of the first 2 episodes of the new Marvel streaming series Secret Invasion, which will be premiering next week on Disney+. This will be a spoiler-free review, so other than basic plot details that are available in other marketing materials, I will not be providing any other information, so don't worry about being spoiled. But before we start talking about the show, I want to take a few minutes to talk about something that actually broke while I was preparing this review. A lot of times I will take a moment to recognize people that pass away during my news show, but this felt particularly relevant to this episode, so I wanted to take a moment and recognize the passing of John Romita Sr., who at 93 years old passed away yesterday, it was reported. Romita Sr. was a legendary Marvel artist who defined the look of Spider-Man for a generation, and as art director helped to foster the creation of characters like Wolverine. Too often we celebrate the movies and the shows that feature these characters, and we don't think about the artists who helped to make them popular. They are the reason why we talk about things like Secret Invasion to this day. So I wanted to take a minute to recognize John Romita Sr. and his legacy in the Marvel Universe, something that reverberates and has reverberated through generations and decades.
People used to say he's a creator. I said, oh, no create. I didn't create Spider-Man. I didn't create any of this. Ditko, Stan, they created Spider-Man. What I'm doing is I'm illustrating it. I'm an illustrator, and I'm a storyteller.
Turning now to Secret Invasion, which was created for television by Kyle Bradstreet, a writer-producer on Mr. Robot, among other things. Bradstreet also co-wrote the first episode of the series. Both of these 2 episodes were directed by Ali Salim, who is a veteran TV director. And Secret Invasion finds Nick Fury returning to Earth just as a sect of Skrulls, the alien race that he teamed up with back in Captain Marvel, seek to take over the planet to replace their conquered homeworld. And since Skrulls are shapeshifters, and there's more here than Fury or anyone else could have imagined, it's unknown just who these Skrulls are and who they might have replaced. Ben Mendelsohn also returns as Talos, Fury's Skrull ally, as does Kobe Smulders as Fury's trusted right-hand agent Maria Hill. We also get appearances from Martin Freeman's Everett Ross and Don Cheadle's James Rhodes in the first 2 episodes of the series, and they may be in the show going on down the line as well. New faces include Emilia Clarke as a shadowy Skrull operative, Kingsley Ben-Adir as Gravik, leader of the Skrull conquering force, and Olivia Colman as Sonya Falsworth, a British intelligence official who will stop at nothing to save lives. I've said this before about the Skrulls. I'm generally kind of suspicious of shapeshifter stories because it feels like they too often kind of fall back on the Scooby-Doo thing of, oh, you're talking to a character, but it turns out they were a shapeshifter all along. Luckily, this show employs that fairly infrequently through the first couple of episodes and goes for more of a espionage, spy, cloak and dagger type feel for the storyline. It's actually fairly grounded for a story that is about green aliens who shapeshift who are trying to take over the planet. Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury is the standout of these first 2 episodes after an extended absence for the MCU, or at least a sidelining. And this Fury is a bit of a broken man, still grappling with a threat in Thanos that even he was powerless to stop.
There's a very real threat out there. You were never the same after the blip. You always told me there is no shame in walking away when the steps are uncertain. So check your footing.
The actions unfolding in the series also tie back to the Captain Marvel era, back to the 90s, and promises that he made to the Skrulls in saying that he would help them to find this new home planet. And I like how they go back to this earlier part of the MCU to at least attempt to tie everything together. Nick Fury actually gets some interesting dimension here, which I'm in favor of, and I'm going to be curious to see how much they continue to explore his character as the series progresses. Kingsley Ben-Adir's Gravik hasn't really caught hold just yet. It's the first couple of episodes. He's still in the plotting stage of this invasion, but I do hope that they use his talent to give us more than just a generic bad guy played by a buzzy young actor, which has happened before. Emilia Clarke is also somewhat underused thus far, mostly skulking in the shadows as we try to guess whose side she's really on, but her character's background opens up some intriguing possibilities to explore, and I hope the show does that in future episodes. Overall, I think these first two episodes really do set the stage well for an intriguing MCU spy thriller. Episode 1 is a great mini spy movie from the first frame to the last frame, with a conclusion that really did leave me surprised. And then episode 2 slows things down and gives Jackson a couple of meaty scenes with Ben Mendelsohn and Don Cheadle as Fury tries to find the lay of the land in this new world. It also ends with a revelation that may recontextualize what we think we know about Nick Fury, who, let's face it, is already a pretty mysterious guy. While the theme of a displaced group of rebels who are seeking to find their home through the destabilization of world governments may seem a little bit familiar to anybody who's watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think Secret Invasion is carving out its own niche, and there's a lot of pressure because this is a much beloved comic book storyline, and it's never going to live up to everybody's expectations. But as a TV show on its own terms, I like what it's doing so far. This is going to be a 6-episode show. And while I'm not jumping out of my seat over these first 2 episodes, keep in mind this is basically the first act of the story. This is 2 out of 6. And I think that they have planted a lot of very interesting seeds and laid out a lot of intriguing possibilities for where we can go down the line. Of course, things can go terribly wrong, but that's the case with any movie or TV show. Standouts so far include Samuel L. Jackson. As I mentioned, Nick Fury gets a lot of dimension that we've never seen from him before. And then Olivia Colman. I mean, let's just cast her in everything because she takes what could have been kind of a stock character, the sort of crusty intelligence officer, and really adds almost a joy to her performance. And I think it's because she's an actress who gets a lot of joy out of being an actress. More than anything, what excites me is that Secret Invasion seems to have the possibility of actual consequence. This is something that could change the MCU world as we know it. And we are at a bit of a critical time for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While Nick Fury is certainly fighting to stop world-changing events in this series, I think that world-changing events may be exactly what the MCU needs, and there's great potential for it in this series. So I'm very encouraged so far with the first 2 episodes of Secret Invasion. I will continue to watch it week to week, and I will perhaps report back here on the channel once it has finished its run, or if it gets really great, maybe during its run. But what do you think? Are you excited about this new chapter in the MCU? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned right here on the channel. This was sort of a last-minute thing. The show landed in my inbox yesterday morning, and the embargo dropped this morning, but tomorrow I will have my review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and I'll have a lot more reviews here on the channel as we go forward throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.